Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lauriston Castle. It is so good of you to come to visit us today during this festive period. Let me introduce myself. I'm Mrs. Mackay, and I'm the housekeeper here in Lauriston, and I'm really looking forward to showing you around this lovely house. You actually have chosen a really good day to visit, as the owners, Mr. and Mrs. Reed, are both at home, as is Mr. Barton, Mrs. Reed's brother, who lives here too. Of course, the staff are all very busy with preparations for the festive season. I'm sure there'll be an opportunity. Let's go upstairs to the reception hall. This is one of my favourite spots in the house. Most of the main rooms actually lead off of this hallway. There's some beautiful furniture here, and in fact, throughout the whole house. Mr. and Mrs. Reed bought most of it on their travels in France and Italy. The blue John vases are both very, very beautiful and, I believe, very valuable. We've placed some sprigs of holly and ivy on the fireplace and on some of the side tables. I think it lends a festive touch to the surroundings. Alexander, the gardener, brought them up fresh from the garden this morning. The first room I'm going to take you into is called the Oak Room. This is Mr. Reed's study. Even although he's retired from his furniture making business, William Morrison and Company, he's still very busy with many, many interests and hobbies. Mr. Reed, I hope we're not disturbing you.
Oh, not at all, Mrs. Mackay. No. Visitors, yes, do come in, yes. You came at exactly the right moment, as I've just finished my telephone call. I was talking to George Crowell over at Craigcrook Castle. I used to be very friendly with his father until he died some years ago now. But we're still all in contact. In fact, his widow, Mrs. Crowell, is here today visiting Margaret. Yes, I find this telephone trip at Craigcrook, and I must admit, I'm an enthusiast for modern inventions. The telephone is definitely one of them. I can phone to the railway station to find out the times of the trains. I can telephone to the shops on Princes Street. Other forms of technology we had put in here is before we moved in back in 1903, I insisted that we must have central heating. It was quite a new idea at the time. I was so pleased with that, especially in the winter. And also electric lights. Oh, just to think back to the days when we used to use gas lights or even candles. No, it's far better, although servants were a little wary of the electric lights at first. They didn't want to touch the switches. But they've all got used to it now, I'm glad to say. Funnily enough, even though I am very interested in modern inventions, I am quite traditional in some ways. When it comes to Christmas, you'll have noticed as you came in that we are beginning to take the house for Christmas. I grew up with the old ways. You know, in Scotland we didn't really celebrate Christmas at all, and I think that's how it should be. I think we should leave all the celebration to Hogmanay. However, we are having some friends coming up from London for Christmas, so Margaret thinks, as a courtesy to them, we should do it the English. So I've agreed, and I must admit the house does look very attractive. So, this evening, that's what I was just talking to George about. This evening we're going to meet up and go to the theatre in town. What I'll be doing is arranging for our chauffeur, George, to bring the lunch around, and we'll go up to Craigcrook, George, and we'll all go together. I think it's such an enjoyable arrangement. I do like travelling in the car down into town. I did used to like going in on the train, from Daviston's main station. It's very convenient, but I have to admit the car is better. We can all go together. One of the things about having a phone, a barbarous new term, but I've been picking it up. One of the things about having a telephone is that I can even telephone to different places inside the house. I can telephone James directly. By the way, if ever you want to telephone here, all you have to remember is it's Daviston's Mains 10. Got that? Good, right. Well, anyway, I do hope you enjoy the rest of your visit, and I'm sure I'll be seeing you later.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. We won't disturb you any longer. Now we are going to any longer. Now we are going to go to Mrs. Reed's bedroom. I expect that Grace, Mrs. Reed's maid, will be busy in there. Hello, Grace. You do look like you're busy. What are you doing?
Hello, Mrs. Mackay. I'm up here just checking on the so cold outside. It's necessary to have the fires lit in the bedrooms, even though there is a central heating system. However, my job is to make sure that the fire doesn't go out. It does mean, though, that I'm up and down the back stairs many times a day. Nevertheless, the staff do enjoy this time of year, as the house is always busy with visitors coming and going. Mr. and Mrs. Reed enjoy entertaining their friends during this time. Sometimes they come for dinner or even a party. Tonight, though, Mr. and Mrs. Reed have plans to go to the theatre. Mrs. Reed has instructed me on the clothes she would like to wear tonight. I just need to make sure the clothes she's decided on are clean and free from mud. Now, let me see. I need to get the fox fur out of the box. It's kept in here when it's not being worn, otherwise the moths would have a feast of it. Blue evening dress out of the trunk. I think the dress may need just a dusting down as it looks clean. I intend to place the small items of linen in front of the roaring fire to warm them. Then they will be ready just to put on. I think Mrs. Reed appreciates these little efforts to aid her comfort. I nearly forgot the opera gloves. It would be unthinkable for any lady to be seen out in the evening without her gloves on. Mrs. Reed would also like me to lay out a long string of pearls. I think they're really striking. They're one of her favourite pieces. Whilst I remember, I have one more small job to do. Mrs. Reed has told me she has a surprise gift for her husband. It's a camera. Both Mr. and Mrs. Reed enjoy photography very much. If you look around the house, there are photographs of the family and of our beloved pets. She even took a photograph of the household staff one day. Let's back downstairs now and go through that linen cupboard. I remember seeing some pretty floral material and a piece of ribbon somewhere. I think we'll go and make a lovely wrapping for Mr. Reed's gift.
Thank you, Grace. You've obviously got a lot to do, so we'll just let you get on with your work. Now I'm going to take you into the sitting room. There's some lovely views from the window in here, over the garden and beyond. Oh, hello, Alexander. I didn't expect to find you in here. I hope you haven't got any...
You didn't expect to see me here? I'm sorry. You really need to pay attention to what's happening. And as if I wouldn't clean any mud off my boots before I came into the house. Myself and Jimmy brought in the Christmas tree. It's quite difficult getting it up the stairs and fixing it into the container. Tamara the maid helped me decorate it. I think it looks quite grand. You've got an angel at the top and a variety of decorations. Pretty coloured glass baubles, aluminium tinsel, and to set it off these small electric lights. I must say the lights really enhance the effect of the tinsel on the baubles, making everything shine and sparkle. At the base of the tree, we put presents. The ones wrapped in coloured materials and brightly printed paper. They're for the family and friends. The doll's house, teddy bear, train, and all the other toys from Mrs. Reed for the local children. Then, of course, we have the ivy and that damned holly. I've put it on mantelpieces, tables, around picture frames, anywhere they think it can be fixed onto. It brightens things up with green leaves and red berries. But it's sharp, it's prickly, it makes it very difficult to cut and to handle. Mind you, it does look very fine. Mrs. Mackay, I really hope you appreciate the work that's gone into this. Speaking of which, I've got my own work to get on with downstairs.
Yes, certainly. And thank you, Alexander. We do appreciate all your work. The tree does look beautiful. And I have to admit, you have managed to keep the carpet very clean, so thank you for that too. I also have to agree that Mr. and Mrs. Reed are really very generous. All those lovely gifts for children in the parish. So we'll leave you to finish off. And I think that the cook is looking for you as well. Now, let's go into the drawing room. We can go here. I can see and hear that Mr. Barton's already there. Mr. Barton, you sound as if you're in very good voice today.
Yes, I'm deciding what I'm going to sing at our next sing-song. I'm not sure whether to choose a favourite of Margaret's, written by her best friend Margaret Marigold. My will has gone to sleep, it's called. Or maybe I'll do something a little more lively, perhaps even a standard from Gilbert and Sullivan. However, the sing-song won't be this evening because William has got us going to the theatre. And knowing William, it's going to be something very, very worthy. I'd rather go to the Theatre Royal to see Humpty Dumpty, or perhaps the King's Theatre for Babes in the Wood. It's such grandeur since it was built in 1906. It's a wonderful place to visit. Anyway, William's attitude to Christmas is rather staid. But I like to have a little jollity, so a sing-song round the piano was part of that. And this is the piece he gave Margaret at their wedding in 1896, although admittedly she's got it specially designed to make it look like something out of a French design. Ah, well, this is a great room to sing in, though. The acoustics are wonderful, although the room itself can get a bit cold. The acoustics are wonderful, although the room itself can get a bit cold. But it does have a large fireplace and wonderful central heating, put in by Barton and Sons. Of course, I'm one of the sons, but now one of the managing directors. We've been responsible for installing a lot of central heating and hot pipes and electric lights, not only in this house, but in other big houses in the area. We have our business in Forest Road, so if anybody has a house that they would like to get central heating, then come to Barton and Son. A little less of the advertising, perhaps. I think maybe I'll just get back to my practicing. Gilbert and Sullivan. On a tree by our river, a little bird sat, singing willow, tit willow. Yes.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Barton. That was lovely. We'll leave you in peace to practice. Now, the final room, which leads off with the reception hall, is the dining room. I'm sure I saw Mrs. Reed going in here a few minutes ago. Let's go and see. Hello, Mrs. Reed. I trust everything is to your satisfaction with the table.
Oh, it certainly is, Mrs. Mackay. The table is looking absolutely lovely. All ready for the festive season. And I see you've put crackers out for us again this year. Oh, it all really adds to the festive spirit. Mind you, could we perhaps have some more evergreens to decorate the dining room? Maybe some holly and ivy, some laurel? Oh, and something to feel very festive. I think that we all enjoyed listening to the carol singers at the door last night. I've sent quite a few Christmas cards and have already received several in return. It's such a lovely way to keep in touch with friends, isn't it? Now, it's just the usual three of us for the meal on Christmas Day. For the main course, we eventually settled for roast beef and a goose, didn't we? And of course, it will be exactly the same meal for all of the staff. It will be a busy day. We'll all be going along to the church service in the morning, but we'll be able to relax afterwards and exchange gifts. And the staff will have their time off to look forward to at New Year. Oh, and Mrs. Mackay, you've made a most suitable choice of material for the maid's Christmas gift. A length of cloth for them to make up a new outfit for work is such an acceptable gift for them at Christmas.
And you were right about suggesting Jenner's department store. So much to do at this time of year, but actually I do enjoy the busyness of it all, and having guests to entertain certainly helps to fill the long dark winter evenings. It fills our home with music, life and laughter at such a dreary time of year. Oh, it's always so cold in this room, Mrs. Mackay. I'm not sure that it was a good idea not to install central heating in here. I think that we need a roaring fire in here during the winter, so if you could see to that, please. I really am feeling quite chilled. I'm going to fetch a shawl from my bedroom, and we can speak later.
Yes, we will. Perhaps we'll meet later on in the sitting room. But in the meantime, perhaps we'll now go along the corridor to the library. Mrs. Reed's friend, Mrs. Crow, is already there. She came earlier to have tea with Mrs. Reed, who was a bit busy at the time, so I asked her to wait in the library. Ah, Mrs. Crow, apologies for leaving you here by yourself. I hope you're comfortable enough.
No need to apologise, Mrs. Mackay. I'm very comfortable. The library is my favourite room in Lauriston. It's such a pleasure to wait in the library while Mrs. Reed attends to household matters before I join her for afternoon tea. And I'm looking forward to the theatre. As you know, Mrs. Mackay, I love visiting Lauriston with all its modern appliances, especially the centre, which is extremely cosy. Such a difference from Craigcook Castle with all its draughty corners. Coal fires are fine when you're sitting right up at them. However, dare you move and the shiver sets in. Central heating is such bliss. You can move wherever you like without a drop in temperature. I must speak to Mr. Barton. This beautiful library holds such a vast collection of wonderful books, covering a whole range of interesting subjects, which I like to browse through. My favourite book is Mr. Reed's Bradshaw Travel Guide, which he bought for their travels to Italy. And as for this unusual chair, a reading chair, I believe they call it, my sons would love one, perhaps a thought for Christmas. I can just see it in the study at Craigcrook. I must remember to ask Mr. Reed if he knows where I can obtain one, or have one commissioned. Yes, indeed, an excellent idea.
Certainly is an excellent idea. But now, Mrs. Crow, I think I need to go and make sure your tea's nearly ready. So, we're now going to go downstairs to the kitchen to see how Cook is getting on. We'll go down the servants' stairs, but watch out, these steps are very steep. Ah, Cook, how are you today?
Oh, yes, good afternoon. I'm fair run off my feet this afternoon. And you know, Tamar, the young maid, seems to have disappeared, vanished. She was all excited this morning because she was getting to go up the stairs and decorate that tree, but I haven't seen any sign of her since then. Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. So if you see that girl, we get downstairs to this kitchen. This is where she's needed the most. Oh, yes. And I've almost got Mrs. Reed and Mrs. Crow's afternoon tea ready. There's the cucumber sandwiches over there, and I'm just setting out some of my shortbread. Mrs. Crow, she always compliments me on my lovely shortbread. So I'm not giving anybody my recipe. No, that's my secret recipe, and it'll stay that way. Oh, excuse me. I think my pot of soup is going to boil over. Oh, my cockaliki soup. Oh, I love my cockaliki soup. Alexander, the gardener, oh aye, he makes sure we have plenty of fresh vegetables. In fact, look at the time up there on the clock. He normally pops in for a wee cuppa and a blether. Nae sign of him the day either. Now, Mrs. Mackay, you've said the mistress wants roast beef and goose, so I'll need to think about getting the stuffing for that goose, and you've ordered some fish. That's good. Oh heavens, I don't know where to start with all this work. But one of the things I do enjoy is my baking. My shortbread, as I've told you about, and my wee mince pies, and my clouty dumpling. Oh, heavens above. Last year, I had to explain to a guest what clouty meant, It's a good Scots word for cloth. Oh, heavens. Oh, heavens. I don't know what we're going to do. But anyway, New Year's coming up and we even get a day off. And the Hogmanay dance at Cramond Kirk. Oh, what a braw time we have. And I have a wee whisky then, a wee dram, and after that I feel grand. Oh, do you hear that? I think we'll have to take that tray up for Mrs. Reed and Mrs. Crowe, because there's no sign of that lassie Tamar, so I better take it up myself.
Thank you, Cook. I'm sure everybody's looking forward to that. So now, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed your tour of Lauriston Castle today. Let's all go back upstairs to the sitting room where Mr. and Mrs. Reed and some of the staff are waiting to wish you all a very happy Christmas and also a safe and healthy New Year.